Our big idea this morning is that God's call on your life is to work for His kingdom's glory. We're oblivious to what's actually going on in the world because we're so hung up in our own stuff. We're so worried about us. It's not an age problem, it's a spiritual problem. Our big idea this morning is that God's call on your life is to work for His kingdom's glory. We need to realize that what God is doing is He's broken into history and He's called His people out of captivity. He's called them back into Jerusalem. Now they're back in Jerusalem and they're not doing what He called them to do for a considerable amount of time. They're lukewarm believers. They're the person who says, God, you saved my life. Yeah! I'm going to get into that whole maturing and following you thing later. Let me throw out an idea that delayed obedience to God is disobedience. Whether we're 5 or 500, the message is still the same. Take the gospel to your community. The community in which you are called, take the gospel to them because the gospel saved you and it'll save them too. So when's the last time that you did a checkup? Think about that for a second. When's the last time you really went to God and said, God, what's going on? Are you being renewed? When's the last time you were renewed? Because you can't do it. Jesus does and can. Older believers are called to lead and disciple younger believers, not discourage them with romantic remembrances of the past. Holiness is deliberate, it's a choice. Following God, actually doing what He's called you to do, is deliberate. Your community needs to hear the message of hope. They need to hear it. They need to hear what the God of the universe has done for them, how much He loves them. And then once they come to know Christ, they need to know that it's about His glory and working for His glory. How oblivious are you? How oblivious have you been? Remember, God's called you out of darkness into light. You're in the new chapter of your life. But what are you doing now? Are you so oblivious that you're doing your own thing, that you're not following God where He has you? His desire is intimacy. You were built for this next chapter. Let's do this chapter together. Our big idea this morning is that God's call on your life is to work for His kingdom's glory.